Hey, let's talk about this one. Lots of news happening out of Washington, from the fallout of the president's interviews with journalist Bob Woodward to the Senate vote on a COVID-19 relief bill.
Yeah, we're talking about that and more this morning with Senator Cory Booker. He joins us now. Senator, good morning to you.
Thank you guys for having me on Ben's birthday.
I know, right?
It's a big day.
It sure is. He says you owe us. Not really. It's such a pleasure to have you. Hey, let's get right to this, Bob Woodward, these tapes, right? Because they give the president's early thoughts on COVID-19. I want you to take a listen.
It's also more deadly than your strenuous flus. This is 5 per, this is 5% versus 1% and less than 1%, so this is deadly stuff. I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down.
Yes,
because I don't want to create a panic.
Okay, deadly stuff, but I want to play it down. These recordings are from February and March, the height, right, as we were heading into the height of the pandemic. I want to get your thoughts on them.
Well, it's shocking and disappointing. We see other world leaders that were not playing it down, saved lives. Their countries now, their economies are back open up, and they're banning travel from America because we had a president that told us that this was just going to magically disappear, that this was not that bad. He encouraged people not to wear masks, to go out and do their business. And this was tragic, really. And we want our leaders to be candid, forthright with the facts, and also to bring us together as a country to meet our common foe. We lacked that in this leader, who was not only playing it down, but giving us misinformation, pushing drugs that were dangerous, telling us even at one extent to inject bleach. The conspiracy theories he's been pushing, he's been reckless, and unfortunately America as a result has suffered.
So very quickly, Senator, some are saying that the president, because of this, playing it down, has blood on his hands. Would you go so far as to say that?
Look, rhetoric right now, we just need to focus on the current crisis. We are in a bad situation that he is responsible for. He's the commander in chief. The buck stops with him. He made very, very tragic mistakes, but we need to still, as a nation, pull together, work together. I'm so proud in New Jersey, from Republican mayors to Democratic mayors, we've really been showing how multiple layers of government can work together to try to save lives. We still have people suffering. Food lines in New Jersey are extraordinarily long. We're in this crisis, and I just want to keep fighting through it together.
Yeah, because one thing led to another here. Governor Phil Murphy says he would have actually shut down the state of New Jersey, which you represent, if the president had been more transparent. My question, we had a political analyst on earlier. We talked about possible hearings into this. Could Congress have a hearing, or are we too late in the game because the election is 2 months away?
Well, look, I think that whenever America goes through a challenge like this, we should do a postmortem. We should examine what happened and learn from it and get better as a country. We are such an outlier on the planet Earth. Other industrial nations who have their economies back open, who have cases numbering in the dozens, as opposed to what we're seeing, which is hundreds of people dying a day still in America. So I think that we have to get through this. Let's put politics aside. We have a real challenge with our economy right now. We still have a challenge with this COVID virus. We've got to be working together to get through it. And look, I know that we are in a difficult, probably one of the most consequential elections of our lifetime. I think every American should take it upon themselves to say, regardless of what you believe, that this is going to be one election that I'm going to go out and vote.
The president, we've been talking a lot about him, but he's not the only one who's briefed on these dangerous situations. Congress is as well. You, as a senator, your colleagues are. Could Congress have done more as well? Is there some responsibility there, Senator Booker?
Oh, I mean, God bless America. I think Congress should have done a lot more. And we tried to push Mitch McConnell to having a more robust response. Even right now, look where we are. We tried months ago, the House of Representatives put forth a very robust bill, and Mitch McConnell said, we want to wait. And literally on the eve of unemployment benefits running out, weeks and weeks after congressional Democrats had put forth a proposal, then he decides to say that he wants to start doing something. So we should have had a much bigger response. And right now, We should be putting out another stimulus check. We should be putting out help for our hospitals, state and local governments who are facing layoffs of police, firefighters, and others. They should be getting resources. So yes, again, this is the biggest crisis of our lifetime. It demands a much bigger response from Congress. And I'm so frustrated that Mitch McConnell has put up a skinny, anemic bill, even all of his own caucus doesn't support, at a time that we need big, bold action to help Americans.
I want to get your take on a recent exchange of tweets that you had with President Trump after he posted this. And your greetings, I know you know what I'm talking about here. The tweet about the suburban housewife who says they will be voting for me. They want safety and are thrilled that I ended the long-running program where low-income housing would invade their neighborhood. Biden would reinstall it in a bigger form with Cory Booker in charge. You know, this back and forth really had to do with the fact that he wants to get rid of suburb, or he says that beautiful communities and suburbs, including women, are what Biden wants to take away from. You have a very interesting backstory from 1969 when your parents tried to move into a suburb. What exactly is your response to this whole back and forth?
Yeah, you know this. I'm a product of Harrington Park, New Jersey, great Bergen County boy, raised in this great area that my parents had to get thanks to activists in that community, white activists who had people pose as my parents to buy the house that I grew up in because we were being denied entrance. And so here's this guy, really a throwback to the 1950s and 60s discrimination, where he is literally trying, and this just doesn't fly in New Jersey, but he's trying to use race baiting, fear mongering, and demagoguery to win suburban votes. And I love my state that elected me as the fourth black person ever elected to the United States of America. My state's just like, look, we don't care about those things. We want to keep our community safe, strong, and united. And so I loved this moment in the internet for me because the response was overwhelming. People all over America from the suburbs were texting, tweeting things like, hey, I want Cory Booker to move in my neighborhood. He'll shovel my driveway. So
I remember covering you back in Newark, New Jersey. When I was a street reporter, sir, I remember covering you, shoveling that driveway in Newark, New Jersey. One of my first assignments as a young buck reporter.
Yeah, well, and quickly before we're running out of time with you, I got to talk to you because you're a huge fan of Supernatural, which is on Pix 11, one of our longest running. See, look at that reaction. And you got to talk to some of the cast members. How fun was that for you as a major fan?
I'm telling you, this is one of the great shows of my lifetime. And to meet them as real people is incredible. I'm so sad that we're about to have the final episode. So I am on pins and needles. I've been talking to a friend of mine about a watch party. How do we do that in the time of distancing? But this is a great show. I hope that folks tune in. And I can't believe I'm confessing this to you. I went back during my presidential run, just while I was my insomnia nights, and rewatched it all the way from the first season all the way.
There you go. Die Hard right there. You know what? If there's a reboot, I have a feeling you might be a character on it. I mean, you're such a huge fan.
Sir, we're being told that we're out of time, Senator Booker, but I have to squeeze this in.
Yes.
I have to ask you about Rosario Dawson.
Please.
And whether or not you'll be cohabitating in Washington, New Jersey, Hollywood. I mean, what's the news we're making this morning?
Rosario Dawson, officially, I can tell you, is now a resident of New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey.
All right.
Getting her voter registration form to make sure she can vote for me. I'm on the ballot in November. So I'm really excited that I've got another resident to come to New Jersey.
We got to get you a housewarming gift.
Or her. Yeah.
Maybe the DVD of Supernatural.
Oreos are vegan too, so
I
saw those Oreos. I could eat those.
You hear Betty? She's saying DVDs. It's 2020.
But he wants a gift, so that's a gift that we can actually send to him.
Senator Booker, we appreciate your time this morning on all these topics.
Oreos coming your way, as well as DVDs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, sir.